Okay, so get ready because we are diving into a mystery today that is both creepy and fascinating.
Oh, yeah?
It's the Who Put Bella in the Wych-Elm
So
case.
this one's a classic.
This case has baffled people for the decades.
For sure.
And you'll see why.
Yeah.
So picture this. It's 1943.
Okay.
World War II is raging.
Right.
And we're in Hagley Woods in England.
Okay.
4 boys are out exploring, looking for birds' nests.
Right.
But what they find
Uh-oh.
is a nightmare.
No.
A skull hidden inside a hollow Wych-Elm tree.
Oh, that's like straight out of a horror movie?
Right, and that discovery was only the beginning.
no.
The more you dig into this Bella case,
Yeah.
the stranger it gets.
Oh, I bet.
Now, the police,
Yeah.
they did their best
Yeah.
with what they had back then.
Right.
They figured Bella was probably in her 30s,
Okay.
had given birth at some point,
Mm-hmm.
and died from being suffocated.
Okay.
But her identity,
Yeah.
a complete mystery.
Wow.
And then things take an even weirder turn.
Oh, what happened?
Someone starts spray painting these messages on walls,
Really?
asking who put Bella down the Wych-Elm.
Bella. So they thought that was her name.
Right.
Huh.
And of course, people started whispering about witchcraft
Oh, of course.
and wartime spies.
Oh, wow.
Was Bella caught up in something dangerous?
So many questions.
Yeah, it's like a giant puzzle
Mm-hmm.
with missing pieces.
Right.
But luckily, some researchers used a pretty cool tool
Oh, yeah.
to try and make sense of it all.
Okay.
It's called a Bayesian network.
Bayesian network.
It's kind of like a detective's mind,
Okay.
but supercharged with math.
All right.
It helps weigh all the clues
Mm-hmm.
and calculate the odds of different possibilities.
So it's like Sherlock Holmes using a computer
Yeah, exactly.
to analyze the evidence.
And we'll be using excerpts from their research paper for this deep dive.
Okay, cool.
So in the Bella case,
Yeah.
the researchers used this Bayesian network to look at 4 main theories.
Okay, let's hear them.
Did Jack Mossop do it?
Okay.
Was some secret intelligence service involved?
Oh, interesting.
Was it someone else entirely?
Okay.
Or was Bella's death just a tragic accident and no crime was committed?
So those are the 4 main theories.
Those are the 4 big ones.
All right.
Jack Mossop, though.
Yeah.
His name seems to pop up a lot in this case.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So Jack actually died a year before Bella's body was found.
Oh, wow.
But his wife,
Okay.
Una Mossop,
Una Mossop.
claimed that Jack had confessed to being involved in Bella's death before he passed.
Oh, before he passed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And she even pointed the finger at this
At who?
Dutchman called Van Ralt.
Van Ralt?
Yeah, suggesting they might have been part of a spy ring.
Wait, a spy ring?
Uh-huh.
So Bella might have been a secret agent?
Potentially, yeah.
This is getting good.
It gets even more complicated.
Oh, no. How
Jack's cousin, Judith O'Donovan,
Judith O'Donovan?
later backed up Una's story.
Really?
She said it was, quote, known in the family
Known in the family.
that Jack had been involved in a woman's death
Wow.
and that he was a, quote, traitor.
Voter.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a dead man's wife
Right.
and cousin claiming he was involved, possibly with this mysterious Dutchman,
Yeah.
and maybe even spies.
It's like something out of a spy novel.
It is,
Right.
but how much can we actually trust their stories?
You've hit on the key point.
Right,
People aren't always truthful.
No.
Especially when family is involved.
right.
That's where the Bayesian network comes in.
Okay,
It helps determine how much weight to give each piece of evidence.
okay.
It factors in whether the evidence is solid or shaky,
I see.
like a witness who might be lying.
Right, like if you heard a rumor from a gossipy neighbor,
Exactly.
you might not believe it as much as if you see something with your own eyes.
Precisely.
Right.
And the researchers took this into account when analyzing the claims made by Una and Judith.
Okay.
They considered the fact that their testimonies weren't confirmed by any other evidence.
So even though their stories sound dramatic,
Yeah,
the analysis made sure not to overemphasize them.
right.
Just because they were related to Jack?
Exactly.
What else did the researchers consider
Wow.
when building their case with this Bayesian network?
Remember how the initial examination suggested Bella might have been suffocated?
Yeah.
They actually found material embedded in her teeth
Really?
that supported this theory.
Oh, wow.
But the researchers had to be careful.
Okay.
What if the boys who found Bella
Yeah.
had accidentally pushed the skull further into the tree,
Oh,
causing that material to get lodged in her teeth?
that's a good point.
Every little detail could potentially change the whole picture.
It seems like it. Yeah. Every piece of the puzzle matters.
Exactly.
The researchers even used 1941 census data
Wow.
to figure out if Bella was British
Okay.
or from somewhere else.
Right.
Imagine trying to track someone down during wartime
Oh, yeah.
with all the chaos and
It
movement.
must have been impossible.
I know, it wasn't easy.
don't know.
But I have to wonder,
Yeah.
did the police thoroughly search for a missing person
Right.
who matched Bella's description back then?
That's an excellent question.
What if they missed something?
And it highlights a major challenge in this case.
What's that?
The lack of clear evidence about a thorough police search
Oh.
actually threw off the analysis quite a bit.
So even with this fancy Bayesian network,
Yeah.
there are still some things we just don't know.
Right.
It's like trying to solve a puzzle
Yeah.
with missing pieces.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean we can't learn anything.
Of course not.
Right.
Right.
What were some of the biggest clues this analysis uncovered?
Well,
I'm dying to know what they found.
before we jump into those juicy details,
Okay.
let's take a moment to let everything we've covered so far sink in.
Okay.
Let the mystery marinate a bit.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right, so we've set the scene. Met some of the key players.
Yep.
Got a little crash course in super sleuth.
With a Bayesian network.
With this Bayesian network thing.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the moment of truth.
Okay.
What did the analysis actually reveal?
Well, after crunching all the data,
Yeah.
the analysis reveals something pretty fascinating.
What's that?
There's a 99% chance Bella's death was no accident.
99%.
Someone put her in that tree.
Wow. So we can pretty much rule out the idea that she just wandered into the woods
Right.
and died of natural causes.
Pretty much.
Someone wanted her dead.
Yeah, and there's a 97% chance she wasn't even British.
What?
Yeah.
She wasn't even from around here.
Nope.
That opens up a whole new can of worms, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
So where was she from?
Well, that's where things get a bit murky.
Okay.
The most probable scenario, according to the analysis,
Yeah.
is that Bella was German.
German, but...
Keep in mind, we're talking about wartime records
Oh, right, yeah.
and a lot of chaos.
Yeah.
Pinpointing her exact nationality is still tricky.
Okay, so maybe a German spy.
Mm-hmm.
That would explain the secrecy and the whispers about espionage.
Yeah, it would fit.
But if that's the case,
Yeah.
who was responsible for her death?
Right.
Did the analysis point to any prime suspects?
It did.
Okay. Who?
The analysis gave Jack Montop a 33% probability of being involved in Bella's death,
Okay.
and a 7% probability pointed to some intelligence service being responsible.
Hold on. 33% chance that Jack Mossop was involved.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound very convincing to me.
you're right. It's not a slam dunk.
No.
But remember, we're dealing with limited information.
Right.
That 33% is still significant, especially when you consider the claims made by his wife and cousin.
True, true.
Mm-hmm.
33% is a lot better than nothing.
Right.
And what about that mysterious Dutchman?
Dan Ralphs, yeah.
That's where things get interesting.
Okay.
The analysis actually suggests that it's highly unlikely Bella was Dutch, as Una had claimed.
Really?
So the graffiti mentioning Lubella might have been a red herring?
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe someone trying to throw the police off the scent?
It's definitely possible.
Wow.
And remember, we're still trying to piece together what happened all those years ago.
Right.
But the analysis did reveal some other intriguing probabilities.
Okay, like what?
There was a 25% chance that Bella was a spy,
Okay.
and a 16% chance she was a prostitute.
A spy and a prostitute?
Uh-huh.
Now we're talking.
Right.
Okay, so let's break this down. We've got a potentially German Bella
Right.
who might have been a spy,
Yeah.
maybe even a prostitute involved with espionage.
Uh-huh.
And we've got Jack Mossop
Yeah.
with a decent chance of being involved,
Right.
maybe working with some shadowy intelligence agency.
It sounds like the plot of a Cold War thriller.
It really does.
Right.
But even with this fancy Bayesian network, we're left with more questions than answers.
It happens.
It's frustrating.
I understand the feeling.
Don't you ever wish you could just tweak the analysis, add more variables,
Yeah.
and get those probabilities closer to 100%?
Of course. But as much as we crave certainty,
Yeah.
sometimes the most we can hope for is a clearer picture of the possibilities.
Right.
We're dealing with a case from decades ago
Mm-hmm.
with missing witnesses and conflicting accounts.
Yeah.
It's like trying to reconstruct a shattered vase.
Oh.
We might be able to put some pieces together,
Yeah.
but we'll never have the complete picture.
It's kind of like those historical documentaries where they say, and this is where the trail runs cold.
Right.
It's both fascinating and a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
But hey,
Yeah.
maybe someday someone will stumble upon a new piece of evidence that changes everything.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
Imagine if some crucial document surfaced
Right.
or a long-lost witness came forward.
Yeah.
That could completely rewrite our understanding of this case.
Yeah. I can't help but think about those boys who found Bella.
Oh, yeah.
What must have gone through their minds when they stumbled upon that skull?
It must have been traumatic.
Yeah, to have your childhood adventure turn into a terrifying discovery like that.
Yeah, they probably had no idea they were uncovering a mystery that would captivate people for generations to come.
Right. It makes you wonder if there are other people out there
Yeah.
who know something but haven't come forward.
Right.
Maybe they're afraid, or maybe they just want to forget the whole thing. It's like there are still secrets buried in this case.
Oh, for sure.
Just waiting to be unearthed.
Absolutely. And the researchers actually did some calculations
Really?
to figure out just how much more evidence they would need
Okay.
to be more certain about Jack Mossop's involvement.
So what did they find?
They determined that to reach a 95% probability, that Jack Mossop was responsible.
Okay.
They would need testimony from 4 additional witnesses,
4.
with accounts similar to Una and Judith's.
Wow. So basically,
Yeah.
4 more people corroborating those claims would have tipped the scales significantly.
Yeah, it would have made a huge difference.
It makes you wonder if those people are out there somewhere
Right?
holding the missing pieces of this puzzle.
Maybe.
But even without those additional witnesses,
Yeah,
this Bayesian network still provided some pretty compelling insights, right?
absolutely. It helps us narrow down the possibilities
Yeah,
and prioritize certain theories over others.
right.
For example, the analysis makes a pretty strong case that Bella wasn't British
Yeah.
and that her death wasn't an accident.
Yeah, it's like having a flashlight in a dark room.
Exactly.
It doesn't illuminate everything,
Right.
but it does show us where to look.
Precisely. It helps us focus our attention on the most promising leads.
So where does that leave us?
Yeah,
What are we, the listeners, supposed to do with all this information?
that's a good question.
Should we be scouring historical records for those missing witnesses?
Maybe.
Should we be digging deeper into the lives of Jack Mossop and Van Ralts?
Those are all valid questions.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to explore those avenues if you're feeling particularly curious.
Okay.
But perhaps the most important takeaway here
Yeah.
is the power of this kind of analysis.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way of approaching a cold case with a fresh perspective,
Right.
using statistical reasoning to make sense of this tangled web of clues and possibilities.
Yeah, it's like a new tool in the detective's toolkit, right?
Exactly.
A way to make sense of the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even find some semblance of order in the midst of a mystery.
Precisely. It's not a magic bullet,
Right.
but it can definitely help us see things more clearly.
And who knows, maybe this deep dive will inspire someone out there
Right.
with a crucial piece of information to come forward.
That would be great.
Someone who remembers something or has a family story that they never thought was important before.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if we could finally crack a case that's baffled people for decades.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
It just goes to show that
Worth.
even the coldest cases can heat up with the right approach.
Yeah, they can.
So we've explored this super chilling mystery,
Yeah.
learned about this amazing Bayesian network analysis,
Uh-huh.
and now I'm just kind of wondering,
Right.
what did it all mean for us? What's the big takeaway here?
I think it really hits home
Yeah.
that even with all these fancy tools like this Bayesian network,
Yeah.
sometimes definitive answers
Mm-hmm.
just stay out of reach.
Right.
We can
Yeah.
weigh the odds,
Yeah.
explore different scenarios,
Yeah.
but some mysteries just might never be fully solved.
It makes you think, right?
It does.
Like, we make decisions based on the best info we've got.
Right.
But there's always that little bit of uncertainty
Mm-hmm.
lurking in the background.
Yeah, especially with a case this old,
Right.
where key people are gone
Yeah.
and stories might have changed over time.
Right.
It's like trying to put together a puzzle,
Yeah.
where some pieces are just lost forever.
But that doesn't mean we give up on the truth, right?
No, not at all.
This deep dive showed us that
Wow.
even when things are murky,
Mm-hmm.
there are ways to approach the problem, to
Right.
think like a detective,
Yeah.
but with some extra math muscle to help us
A
along.
little extra brain power.
Right.
Yeah.
The Bayesian network may not hand us all the answers,
True.
but it does highlight the most promising paths, tells us which leads are worth following,
Uh-huh.
which pieces of the puzzle carry the most weight.
It's like a treasure map,
Oh, yeah.
guiding us through a maze of possibilities.
Right.
And helping us make sense of it all.
A perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe someone listening right now
Yeah.
holds a key piece of the puzzle,
That'd be great.
a family story they overheard, an old diary tucked away in the attic, or even just a fresh perspective that could change everything.
It happens.
Imagine if this deep dive helped crack a case that's baffled people for decades.
That would be something.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would.
And, you mentioned that the researchers actually put their Bayesian network model online
Yes, they did.
for anyone to explore.
It's available to the public.
So if any of our listeners want to try their hand at being a detective,
Yeah.
they can actually play around with the data
Yeah, you can tweak things, see how it works.
and see how different factors change the odds.
Exactly.
It's an awesome opportunity to get hands-on with the analysis.
It is.
You can tweak the weight of different pieces of evidence
Right.
and see how those probabilities shift.
Yeah,
It really makes Bayesian reasoning come alive.
for sure.
It's like stepping into the mind of a detective,
Uh-huh.
but with a high-tech boost.
Yeah, like a detective with a supercomputer.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe someone out there armed with this tool and a fresh set of eyes will spot something that everyone else missed.
Maybe.
Maybe they'll be the one to finally crack this case wide open.
It's an exciting thought.
It is, and that's the real beauty of mysteries like this,
Yeah.
Even after all this time,
Hmm.
they still spark our curiosity,
Right.
ignite our imaginations,
They keep us guessing.
and remind us that the pursuit of truth
Yeah.
is a journey without a finish line.
Well said.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the mystery of Bella and the Wych-Elm,
Yeah.
we'll leave you with this thought.
Okay.
What other historical mysteries are out there?
Oh, there's so many.
Just waiting for a fresh perspective and new tools to bring their secrets to light.
I think that's a great question to ponder.
Yeah, and maybe inspired by this deep dive.
Yeah.
Some of you listeners will be
Yeah.
the ones to take up the challenge,
It'd be great.
explore the unknown,
Yeah.
and finally uncover those hidden truths.
I hope so.